You all ready for this, Steve? I went short, Steve went high and long. Hey, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Steve, and this is 60 Cycle Hum, the guitar, buying, selling, trading, modding, fixing, breaking, reviewing, playing podcast.
Scoot in a little bit, Steve. Look how far out you are. There you go.
Hi.
Get on screen. I have a question for you, Steve. This comes from SJ Gears.
Yeah.
Which seems like a real Facebook account for a real person.
Mm-hmm.
Look at your cable. And SJ Gears says, talk about what Steve does, since Ryan seems to do the heavy lifting.
I do things like this. Hey, Ryan, can you plug this in?
Yeah, I can plug that in for you, Steve.
Thanks. Appreciate it. That's what I do.
Don't hit me.
That's what I do here.
And then Greg Straub replies, ow, Steve Rowe, that's some shade. And then he replies, am I wrong? Does he even play guitar? Oh, he's going to do it.
What's a guitar?
What is a guitar?
What is a guitar?
And then you replied, barely.
Barely. That's true. I played guitar the other day.
What do you do, Steve? Like, what is your purpose in life if you're not another person on YouTube full-time making a fool of themselves?
I am a biotech professional in the city of San Diego.
There you go.
I think he means what do I do
on the show, for the show,
or for the channel. Well,
do you want to answer for yourself, or should I say what you do?
Well, I'll say some of the things I do.
Okay.
We've gone on a couple trips, like Gear Fest last year, and so what I have done on those trips is provide extra luggage slots. Because turns out flying an additional whole person is cheaper than checking in your bags.
Right. Yeah, Steve is
especially when you have a sponsor.
Steve is hands to hold camera gear when we fly places.
I don't actually use the cameras because I'm a little shaky, and I have bad. Actually, that's not true. Like for I will say for actually holding a camera, I feel like
he's like a surgeon.
No, I am a little shaky. But I think I have like a decent eye for frame for someone who does not actually do it very often and has very little training.
None of this requires any technical.
You're just gonna crop it anyway.
Right, I'm just gonna crop it. Shoot wide, don't crop it, Steve. No, like you like. Okay, what this person is talking about is the fact that I'm the one doing
the demos,
the majority of the content on the channel. I'm doing the demos. I'm the face on the demos. I'm doing the editing for the demos and stuff. And then with that stuff concerned, yeah, I'm doing the lion's share of the work on the channel because the channel is my full-time job. It is not Steve's full-time job.
It's my side gig.
Yes.
It's my hustle.
Steve,
I'm Ryan's pimp.
Steve is Steve is one of the podcast founders. I am his co-founder. We are each other's co-founders of the podcast. True. I would say that you and I do an equal amount of work for the podcast feature of this channel.
That's fair. I think that's fair.
Like I do editing, which is technically something that you don't do, but you do a crap ton of like organizational stuff and just keeping track of information and like things that I'm not good at because I'm not analytical that way.
Sure. I mean, I think the Patreon was my idea.
Right.
Originally.
There's a lot of accounts
I managed a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. And you organize all the nonsense that are our email account. Like you look at how many folders are in the email account.
I'm terrible at shipping things, but you're worse, I think.
You ship things, which is better than what I do. No, you have a, like people think, oh, maybe he just shows up and he's the co-host on the podcast. You pull your weight, man.
Thank you.
I never think for a minute that Steve doesn't pull his weight for the function for the what's the word? The segment of the channel that you participate in, you pull your full weight.
Yeah, and I've been gaining weight, so that's actually a hefty task.
Pulling more weight than ever.
I've also will I will jump on other. I mean, you've done it too. Jump on other shows. I still have the most downloaded episode of the Effects Loop of all time, I believe.
No, there's a brag.
Yeah, I went on like 2 weeks before you did, and you did not. Like, apparently,
I didn't deliver.
You did not deliver.
Oh my gosh, you got all those Steve stands in there.
Yeah, no, I do I try to do what I can on the back end to like make things run smoothly, and and at the end of the day, like, we started this as a podcast. We started this as two guys in a room.
And it still is a podcast. It just happens to have a demo channel attached to it now.
So, and it's not easy to have a podcast by yourself.
Yeah.
I did it for 15 minutes when your child was born, and it was crazy.
I have no desire to be like one of those solo podcast guys ever. Like, that seems like hell to me. And then to like the people that do it and like have guests on every week, no, thank you. Like,
can you imagine doing some? I mean, again, I had to do it for that one episode, but could you imagine every week you come in and you're like, well, let's look at this ad. Wow, that sucks.
Right.
Other things I do, I read Dutch.
Steve reads Dutch.
I don't understand it, but I can read it. I used to. I mean, I think. Well, I've got a video. I guess I could launch that video whenever I want, right?
Yeah, this
Pretty
week.
much this week.
Maybe you launched it already.
Maybe I are. Maybe
Steve Steve finally made the video of the string swings.
Yeah. Well, I'll talk about.
I did edit it. But I can say for sure that you spent more time shooting it than I spent editing it. I maybe spent 10 minutes on that.
I spent, I've spent almost an hour. Well, here's the thing: the setup and everything. Took over an hour.
Here's an encouraging thing, though. Like, if people watch that video and it does well enough to do that sort of thing again, like that format of video, you drop all the files into our Google Drive. And I'll probably be able to edit whatever you do fairly easily. Yeah. Because it's going to be one camera, single source audio, you talking about something, you showing something, and then done. Yeah. So it's like easy peasy edits, pump out content. Like, if you want to make content, you can.
I'm already on pace to hit my goal to double my video output from last year. It's
only February, Steve.
I've already matched it. One more video and I've doubled it. No, we got some other ideas coming in this year. I would say, like, moving out and having space. Well, moving into a house, having the space has kind of afforded like to do some of the things that we thought about. Like, I'm not like a guitar player anyone wants to watch demo video.
Well, here's the thing:
demo an object, a pedal or whatever, but. We actually had a company reach out. I need to respond to them about doing an amp kit this year, which is a thing that we talked about last year.
That would be amazing.
And so that would be a thing, that potentially I would build and then bring it down
Steve
here.
Steve electrocute himself in his garage.
That would be bad.
Well, here's what I want to say, Steve, rewinding back to your guitar playing ability. When I started doing demos, I would very confidently say that you and I were at a similar skill place.
I think we're at a similar but different skill.
Different skills, but similar skill level.
Yeah.
The only reason I play the way I play at all right now is because
because it's your job.
It's my job, and I've actually I have to put in hours playing.
Yeah.
I had to become very meticulous and intentional with what I play and don't play. And so that I can be someone who can present himself playing an instrument on camera.
Fair.
You haven't had to do that, thank God.
No.
It's a bit of a nightmare.
So it sounds like what you're saying is you suck because you can afford to suck.
Exactly. Steve, you're free. Don't worry about it. Like, Steve doesn't need to be good at guitar. Be happy for him. No. Okay, you have a real job.
I do have a real
Steve
job.
has a real adult person
now,
job.
Layoffs hit biotech really hard this month, so hopefully,
fingers crossed. Who knows? Maybe Steve will be doing demos really hard in a month or two here.
Jeez.
I hope not. I hope you keep your real job, Steve.
But yeah, I think
because you'd have to get your own demo channel. I'm not going to share YouTube ad revenue.
Hey, well, it's a lot of YouTubers, after they hit a certain number, they start a second channel so they can like diversify their work.
Right.
So like I know Phil McKnight, he has his like standard like Know Your Gear channel.
Right.
And he's put all of his interviews on like a second, like I don't know what it's called because
he
only follow the main.
He's very picky about how YouTube treats his live videos.
Yeah.
And he's very analytical about all that stuff. I'm personally a lot more loose and forgiving with the statistics and the numbers, and just like whatever happens. Let's like fly by the seat of our pants. Where Phil is like, oh, because I did this, it was 3% off from normal and stuff like that. It's probably bigger margins than that, but he really deeply cares.
But I mean,
about
like
this stuff.
that's not an uncommon.
Yeah,
like that was the example, but a lot of and the division that he's talked about, where he's like, well, I put interviews and things that are like kind of like different than what I built my channel on. I put them on my new channel.
Right.
And I think a lot of you like one of the things that was real popular last year, I guess, starting up is there was a big debate in YouTube about like should creators have shorts on their main channel or should they create a channel just to have shorts? Because a lot of people like me, like I don't really watch shorts as part of like my, if channels I subscribe to make shorts, I don't necessarily watch them. So they're just things that come into my feed because I want their long form content, but not necessarily like a 1 minute or whatever long video. This is the other thing I do for this channel is soundboard ideas, which sounds like a dumb,
no, Steve,
like it sounds like a thing that isn't critical, but when you work with Ryan, he has a lot of bad ideas.
Steve and I are creative partners. Like, that's the reality of it. Like a lot of stuff that happens on this channel, I wouldn't be doing it if Steve wasn't my creative partner. Like I wouldn't be doing a lot of this alone.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. So it's absolutely a team effort over here.
What else do I do?
You're my muse, Steve.
Oh, I don't think that's probably not true.
You make it okay for me to talk about bass guitars on this channel.
I felt bad, and I have a feeling when that video drops, there's probably going to be even more comments about that Gibson Sunburst bass. That
you're planning on selling it, right?
That I have listed on OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace right now. I don't know if it's going to sell. I think I may have just really badly timed the market, and I'm definitely listing it at top dollar.
What's weird? I've been listing a bunch of cheap stuff below market. So I haven't been having trouble moving stuff. I've been having people show up for $200 guitars, which has been interesting.
I mean, I've only had them up for like a week, so it hasn't even really been that long. But
you got to hit them all. You got to do Craigslist, OfferUp, Facebook.
Do people still do Craigslist?
I've been listing stuff there. Every now and then I get a hit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I should list the bass guitar and my custom tube amp together. That's so sad. I don't know. What else do I do? I ship 280 reverb pedals.
Oh my gosh.
That.
Stuff like that.
That was gross. Never again.
I would do it again.
I would do it again.
I would not survive doing the tedious stuff like that that Steve takes on.
I would do it again.
Like, and hasn't there been like contests where you do spreadsheets and stuff for entries and things?
Yeah, when we did the donation one,
right.
I did that.
I'm not that organized.
Handled all that. Tried to spreadsheet it out.
There's like two things I know how to do. I know how to sit in front of the camera and I know how to edit the footage. And everything else I put off until basically people forget about it and it never happens. You know?
Yeah, we need to talk about that actually.
I know exactly.
Every once in a while, I
know
look
exactly
at our
what you
email
want to bring
account,
up. Yeah,
and there's like 30 emails in draft. Maybe it's better now. I haven't looked in a while.
30 emails in draft?
There for a while, there was like 30 draft emails in draft.
For what?
Just random,
just random stuff.
Going back like years. Like maybe I finally cleared some of them out because it was like, I don't think Ryan's ever going to respond.
Well, sometimes I start responding, then I realize that I don't want to talk to that person, and I give up. Sorry, people I haven't replied to. Now everyone's going to think that was the case with them, and it's rare.
No, it's like they were all more like businessy type things.
Sure.
What did you think I was going to talk about? The 50/50 design?
No, the stamp.
The stamp.
Steve wants a rubber stamp, and all I have to do is email the logo to someone who will cut it. And What I need to do, like what you need to do is you need to text me, like send me the logo right now. I'll send you the logo and then you do the email.
Yeah. Well,
that.
that's what. So if we ever do the resource, we're talking about doing a resource pack on Google Drive. Speaking of which, I need to delete those videos off of Google Drive because they're taking up a lot.
Yeah, they're huge.
Of room.
They're an hour each, and there's 2 of them.
Well, the one off my phone I think is relatively small.
They're big. They took a while to download.
Yeah. Sorry.
People really care about this information. All right, should we do a guitar podcast?
Let's do a guitar podcast.
What was our first one here?
This one is called Left 4 Dead.
That's right.
Left 4 Dead Punk Bass.
By the way, we're giving away $20 gift cards to our favorite ad of each episode. If you sent in an ad and we choose it out as our favorite out of 3 or sometimes 4, who knows, then we're going to email you. And we're like, hey, where do you want your gift card to? And if there's a gift card available, we'll get you a $20 gift card to Sweetwater, Toman, Amazon, your favorite fast food place, anywhere that has a gift card. Then we can do it digitally. We will honor that. So please send us your best, your worst, your most egregious used ads you can find on the internet for guitar gear, and you may be a winner. Okay, so what do we have here?
This was sent by Robert Wax. There's a lot of words here, and I'm going to try to read them because they're mostly nonsense. Left 4 Dead, punk, Bazz. It's B-A-Z-Z.
Baz.
$150 with the shirt, SM58. $125 without. So that... Washed up one day in the Clinton River Cuomo, perhaps utilized as an OAR, once sweated upon by Ignatius Suck My Kiss, never used it, painted by a punk skunk Anansi. Can I buy a vol? Delirious in design, refuses to stay in tune, sounds funky plugged in or not, probably originally played by that dude from Snot. Sorry, that's all I've got. Spec, Howard, but not too stern. Sennheiser mic capsule embedded in a dispatch mic from Car 54, where are you? Can plug into a preamp on Mini Mixer because Tranny only produces a mic level signal. She prefers the pronoun 12. If you ever get to be the proud owner, if your name happens to be Mary, well, I'll let you finish that one. If you're still reading this, please seek and destroy some therapy. Also accommodates a push-through microphone that picks up ambient sound to add to the mix. So that is...
This is a noise base.
So there's the main microphone that's a pickup that we talked about.
Well,
that's
if it's being used as a pickup, does it function as a pickup? Who knows?
And then the other hole is just to attach a microphone.
Yeah,
like
you just jam
microphone.
an SM58 in there, and it picks up the vibration. It picks up the sound in the room. What the?
Did you see this nut?
Yeah, it's a big chunk of like brass pipe.
They do have the right strings on here. They have acoustic strings on this bass. So that'll work. That checks out.
Man.
Or are they just really rusted?
This has to be someone's like noise project bass. Like they get up on stage, they play slide bass because that nut is an inch off the fretboard. That whatever that microphone picks up is what they're working with. They're probably stacking it through fuzz and delay and reverb and all sorts of different orders. Oh my God.
Even the mounting of this microphone is like kind of nonsensical.
That nut is crazy.
I guess they're just running I don't understand the wires just running out the side.
This is nonsense. It's insane. It's destructive to the bass. And honestly, I'm on board. If I saw someone using this on a stage, I would just be transfixed the entire time. I wouldn't look away. I'd have to know, like, which sounds that I'm hearing are coming from that. I need to know exactly what's going on here.
You know, they should have started this off a little better. Instead of washed up one day in the Clinton River Cuomo, they should have gone for the double pun. Washed up one day in the George Clinton River Cuomo.
Ah.
That is how you do it.
Right. Oh, man. How weird. But also, the microphone grill as a pickup look
kind of works.
I could get into that. The duct tape holding it all in together, holding it to the guitar itself. I'm not hot on that, but if they made, like a Fender did like microphone grill on those gold foil pickups, it's kind of attractive.
I don't even understand the duct tape because it looks like this.
It's just holding the microphone on.
But it looks like it has screws in it. Why aren't the screws holding it to the body?
I have no idea.
There's definitely better ways to mount this. Like get some brackets.
Get some Gorilla Glue.
That's a call black. Call
black?
Call black. That's a call black is what you do with a roulette table.
Yeah, there you go.
The neck is painted. The neck is painted to match the body.
There's various things like scratched into the headstock, but it all looks like nonsense. Big surprise.
There's some X's, a Z.
I kind of like the idea of the SM58 just stuck into that hole.
Just hanging out.
Like you just have a microphone in your guitar and you just grab it when you need it. Didn't Jack Black did that already?
Jack Black did that with one of those harmonica pickup.
He had like a really slick one done with a Gretsch.
Yeah.
Where it made visual sense and it was like a really cool thing.
There's a coin.
Yeah.
That coin might be more than the guitar.
More of a medallion, Steve. What a trip. How much do they want for it?
$150.
No.
That's not a medallion, Ryan. You got to stick with the theme. That's a metallic.
That $150 is all microphones. This is not a bass for sale.
They only want $25 for the Shure SM58.
Oh, that's not included? Screw that.
It's $150 with the Shure SM58 and $125 without.
You know how much I bought my SM58s for?
Like $40.
$58.
Really?
Sweetwater Gearfest deal.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think usually they're like 70.
Was that like was that online or was that like
I was in person, baby,
at a previous Gearfest?
That was the first time I went to Gearfest. They were running that deal. I was like, well, I don't want to lose money, so I bought 2 of them.
I feel like I have this memory, and maybe it wasn't me, maybe it was just someone I knew. It's probably someone. No, I had a bunch of SM58s at one time and was like selling them one at a time on eBay.
Steve found an SM58 tree on the side of the road.
Basically,
he just picked a bunch of them, he put them in his shirt and ran home. There's my belly on the screen. Ran home. Mom, Dad, you wouldn't believe what I found. I found an SM58 tree, and no one believed him.
I think I was selling them for the church because they were just like
that makes sense.
Maybe it wasn't SM58s. Maybe it was other old microphones.
You found the closet just packed full of old microphones.
Yeah, it was like
that they didn't know why they didn't work because no one figured out how to turn on phantom powers. That's not for 58s because they're dynamic.
A buddy of mine picked up a full set of like drum microphones. I think they were like cheap. They're like Samson or Nady or something. But still, like a full set of even the cheapest drum mics is still like a couple $100. And he got them for like, I think like $50 because the person who was selling them was like, don't work. Not sure why. And it was because
Phantom power.
Phantom power.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
ghost power.
This bass looks like it runs off ghost power.
I don't think it's haunted. I think it wants to be haunted, but it's trying too hard. You know, like the ghosts are like, you know.
You don't think this story is real?
Cool
you don't
enough.
think they just fish this thing out of the river?
I don't think anything in this ad is real. No, like I think that can you save this? Can you resurrect this? I think you technically could. It's going to need a new nut. A pit guard could cover up that gaping hole. I mean, there's wood missing underneath the actual bridge.
Here's what I'm thinking.
What did they carve this out with? It looks like they chiseled it with a kitchen spoon.
Why do you think there's wood missing under the bridge? Is there a picture?
Look at the bridge right here.
Oh,
the bridge is hanging over this like hand on route.
Barely
they
wood
shoved
missing.
the microphone in.
There's no structural integrity there. It's fine.
The bridge, like 20% easy of the bridge is hanging over a canyon.
It's held in place by 3 wood screws. It's fine.
It doesn't even have all the screws for the bridge. Oh, and you know what? There's not holes for the under. I bet this thing doesn't intonate. I bet that the bridge is in the wrong position.
Why do you think it's
because there's not holes for the other 2 screws in the wood.
Oh, you're saying this is in like the wrong position.
I think they put the bridge back in the wrong place.
Or no, you're probably right. Do you really think the person who's going to buy this bass cares about intonation?
No, it's because it's functionally fretless as it's set up right now.
All they need to do is move the neck further away from the bridge, and it'll be fine.
Look at the... Oh, my...
Here's my thought. Like, this is the bass that you buy if you're in I heard this term today for the first time. What was I listening to? Oh, not today. Yesterday, I was listening to Get Offset. They use this term. Apparently, this is a term. Swamp rock. Do you know what swamp rock is?
No, but I can imagine it.
They describe swamp rock as, well, they were talking about John Fogerty.
All right.
So saying like Creedence is like Bayou or swamp rock or something. This is the bass that you play if you're in a punk Creedence cover band.
Man, I want to hear that.
Where you're just doing like punk versions of Creedence Clearwater Revival songs.
Not versions, but like in the same vein. That's what I want to hear.
No,
like, I want to hear the Hank 3 version of Creedence.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It wouldn't be like a pop punk or like a skate punk sound.
It'd be like freaky stuff.
It would be like Creedence, but like
I want to hear the meth.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like methy Creedence.
Right, that's what I want. I want to
That's rough.
That's pretty rough. The musicians making it. I'm not saying that they should be using meth. I'm saying I want it to sound like they do.
Right. So I'm not. So like you still have to have like the shuffle beat on everything.
Yeah.
It's just way fast.
And like the heavy tremolo and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm for it. Someone record a song and send it to us. This genre probably already exists.
Does exist.
Yeah. I'm not gonna buy it. I'm not gonna buy this bass.
You're not really?
Yeah.
Wow, what a surprise.
Big surprise, right?
What a surprise.
We're all shocked.
How much would you pay for this bass? It's already $150 with an SM58.
I'm looking at it as like I want to check out that microphone. It's some sort of unique microphone that's in there. It looks I don't know where it came from. They make it sound like it came out of a squad car. I doubt that's true. But I would be like, oh, if I figured out what that microphone is and if it's worth anything, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'd go buy that for the price of that microphone.
That microphone's not worth anything.
Probably not.
I mean, maybe. The SM58's worth at least $58.
That is a no-name neck on there. If it was a brand name neck, then the brand is long gone.
Sure.
It doesn't look like it was ever anything special.
It's definitely not like the shape of any.
You can get all sorts of cheap P-bass knockoffs that'll be in new condition. That'll probably play way better than what you could make that play. Like you could do a rescue job on that, and it still probably wouldn't play as good as getting like a Rondo or a Harley Benton.
What about this zinc nut
or any random $120 bass off of Amazon that's made by a Donner equivalent or something like that?
But Ryan, what about this zinc nut?
Oh, it is a unique zinc nut.
I'm just gonna keep saying it.
Is it zinc?
I don't know.
Because it looks like a piece of copper tube.
It might be copper tube, but it looks extra shiny, like a modern penny.
They filed through the tube so much that there's a gap in it on the G string.
That's bad.
Is it bad though? Is it worse than any other part of it? At least that string's not going to pop out of the slot.
That's true.
Is it any worse than the rest of it? Like
no.
This is a $25 guitar.
$25.
You're selling a problem.
But you're getting an SM58.
No, you have to pay extra for that.
Okay, so it's a $25 bass, and you pay an extra $25 to get the SM58.
Perfect.
Okay.
At the very least, you just bought firewood for the next U-log video.
I tried to buy. I bought some firewood. Couldn't get it to light. I'm very frustrated.
You lost your man card, Steve.
I know.
What would the cavemen think?
They'd think, "Wow, that guy's got a nice house. Why is he trying to start a fire?"
Right. Oh, you no need fire.
Idiot, you have gas furnace. Why light fire? That's what they would say.
Right. That's offensive to cavemen. We all know what cavemen talk like, and it's not like that. They talk like the Geico cavemen.
Oh, yeah. Or they talk like Phil Hartman.
Yeah, exactly like Phil Hartman. When I climb into an airplane, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, am I inside the belly of a giant metal bird? It's such a stupid bit, but It hit for some reason.
Yeah. I may not know much as a caveman. I may be scared by your modern conveniences like light bulbs. But what I can tell you is my client is innocent.
SNL just had they'd come up with the weirdest characters.
Yeah.
Basically, SNL was Geico commercials. That's where Geico just copied SNL, and that's where Geico came from.
So it's funny. I was
weird characters.
I was talking to someone the other day. First, I heard this. I think from we're gonna go off the rails a little.
Like a crazy train?
Further off the rails. Yes, somewhat like a crazy, like not exactly like
similar to a crazy train,
but similar to a crazy train. I was listening to. I think it was This Is Rad. And they were talking about SNL. And I think it was This Is Rad. They're basically saying that they think SNL is actually peaking right now, that it's the best it's ever been.
It's all downhill from here.
Which I was telling that to someone at work, and they're like, SNL's horrible right now. I was like,
it's always been bad.
It's always bad, and it's always good. You know what I mean?
It's fast food.
Yeah.
It's Taco Bell. SNL is Taco Bell, where it's like, it's bad at the thing that it is, but it's also like iconic at the thing it is.
There are things happening with SNL right now that, now I haven't watched this, I guess I haven't watched the season, so maybe I'm super wrong, but at least the last couple seasons that are just completely off the rails, like amateur hour, where you're like, I don't know why this is funny.
Right. Here's the thing, like, I haven't watched SNL other than like clips that show up on that's my phone from time to time.
That's the thing to watch, is the clips.
Right, but I haven't, like, there was a period that I was picking up where like they were doing a lot of like really high production stuff, and it was all falling flat to me. Right. The SNL that I like is like the land shark bit, caveman lawyer.
Right.
Like these random characters that make no damn sense or just nonsense. But that lines up with me being a Kids in the Hall person too. Like, I like it's not random, but the absurdist. I like the absurdist humor. So if they're delving into that, then maybe I should check it out again. I don't know.
I think they have their moments. So for example, like I don't know if they're still doing them this season.
I also don't care about celebrity guests at all.
That's fair. I was going to say, like, well, I know we've talked about, I think on the show before, Saturday Morning All-Star Hits.
Yeah, I love that show.
And the guy who did those was like an SNL player for a couple seasons and was doing that style of like digital short on SNL, where it's like, and now they have the interns. They have these three guys that do like an interns bit in place of digital shorts, and they're kind of like off the rails every once in a while. And they do like costumes that make no sense.
Right.
So I don't know. Like I said, it's simultaneously the best it's ever been and the worst it's ever been, but I think that's really the conclusion for all SNL ever.
Like anything, it's supposed to be generational.
Yeah. And I think there are
like every 10 years, it's not supposed to be for you anymore. It's supposed to be for the next people.
No, and I think that's exactly what it is.
Right.
I just happen to be forever young. You want to do some housekeeping?
Yeah, let's do some housekeeping.
Housekeeping is a part of the show where I invite you, if you would like to support this program, if you'd like to support 60 Cycle Hum,
we invite you
to visit us at patreon.com/60 Cycle Humcast, where you can support the show for as little as $1, as much as officially $25.
Unofficially, the sky is the limit.
$1 billion. Maybe you're the guy who just won the lottery, I think in Maine.
Hey, if you guys want Steve to be more full-time, finance it is all I'm saying. You become a very generous and eccentric benefactor.
Yeah. You can do some Google work. Head on over to Glassdoor. Look up what the average salary is for a scientist in San Diego, California.
I feel like we can shoot higher, Steve. We're going to shoot for an eccentric billionaire. Let's get an eccentric billionaire.
And then, so you can...
Elon, I know you're watching, buddy.
You can
make Steve's dreams come true. Make him full-time on 60 Cycle Hum.
Google the average salary for a Major League Baseball player. And that's what my going rate is to become a full-time player in 60 Cycle Hum.
The salary of a scientist working on a guitar YouTube channel. Okay? And he will take no less
No one knows what that means. I don't even know what that means. But head on over there. We appreciate anything
it makes things happen.
You can share
here.
with us. We buy food. We go on trips. We
do
things.
We pay for subscriptions that we need to make the show happen.
Yeah.
Things like that. It's
we pay for Podbean.
We pay for Podbean. We give you guys gift cards when you have an ad that we like. You know,
we mail things.
We mail things and female things.
Shipping adds up and non-binary things.
Mm-hmm.
That's
everyone's included.
What's the point of this? Just go to patreon.com, look us up, or 60 Cycle Humpcast, or click the link in the below.
Another ad?
Let's do some more money stuff. Let's talk about
money.
I want to talk about these first because this is going to go into our what's new.
Sure.
First sponsor re-upping with us. Thanks, guys. Stringjoy
said that they wanted to try out 6 months with us. They did it, and I was like, "Hey, is it up?" And they're like, "Yeah, but we're gonna keep going because why wouldn't we?" And we're like, "Okay, we feel the same way. Why wouldn't we keep going?" And so we held hands through email, and we stared into each other's eyes, and then money was transacted. It's very romantic.
I should just subvert this whole ad and be like, crafted in Portland, Oregon, played on stages worldwide. Gun Street Wiring Shop is the
Stringjoy acquired.
It's like a merger.
It's a merge.
Partner.
They merged.
But anyway, we're here to talk about strings. But if you need a wiring kit, and I'm not just talking about I want to upgrade my pot. If you want to upgrade your pots,
the craziest wiring kit ever.
If you want to upgrade your pots, go to Gun Street Wiring Shop. If you want the craziest wiring kit ever, this is what you
guys have seen what he sends me.
This is what I've done is I go, "Hey Sean, I need this wiring kit. I've done this twice. I need a wiring kit. Oh, what do you have? Oh, I have this pickup configuration. Oh, what are you thinking? I don't know, man. Like, what sounds crazy? Let me know. Oh, how about a series split? Okay, cool. Let's do that.
He did stuff.
How about we just make this push pull where when you pull it, it just goes straight from the volume to the output.
He can turn your guitar into like 50 guitars. He did stuff in the wiring harness for my Silver Sky that I still don't understand.
I heard he can turn your Telecaster into a Telestar Blaster.
Did you just make that up?
I think I did.
That's incredible.
I heard you can turn your Les Paul into a Moore Paul.
You can turn your Jag Stang into a Jazz Dang.
Anyway, Stringjoy, they make these strings in Nashville, Tennessee. They've got coated strings now. They've got their signature strings. You can head on over there and you can customize a set for yourself.
I just put a set of the coateds on my Swept-Wing back there. First of all, the strings that I had on there had gone dead and they were dull, and you can't have that in a surf band. I'm using it for Dinosaur Ghost. So I swapped it out before practice the other night. Mm-hmm. They felt fantastic, nice and bright and twangy. I had a great time. They felt slick.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, I like coated strings. I used to not like them back in the old Elixir days when it felt like there was like a condom on your entire string, and you would see like the plastic flaking off after a while, like it would get fuzzy. But yeah, these newer generations of coated strings.
I need to take a picture of the Elixirs that are on my Big Baby Taylor that have been on there since like 2018.
That's how you know you got yourself a Taylor. You got the original strings on there.
Well, they're not the original, but they're pretty gnarly. Right. Our next sponsor this week is Big Ear Pedals. They just made this thing.
That's an idea that came out of this podcast, Steve.
I know it's a terrible idea that came out of this podcast.
People are buying them. By the time this episode is up, they might be sold out.
Another dumb idea from 60 Cycle Hum, brought to you by your friends at Big Ear Pedals. This is the Wacka.
This has been in the works for like 2 years. Grant hit me up like 2 years ago, and it's like, let's make that dumb idea that you had on the podcast. And then we've just been slowly working on it, and life got in the way. You know, Grant had like 2 moves since then. All right, we were gonna name it the Bubbles, and then we couldn't because Simon the Magpie came out with a pedal called the Bubbles.
This is a 9-stage boost? Is that the deal?
It's 9 boosts. I don't know if you can call it staging officially. It's 9 boosts.
It's 9 boosts.
It's 9 little baby boosts, and you stack them. Every single one is the same amount of boost, and so you just keep adding boosts, and you're like. I didn't say it in the video.
Okay.
This thing is incredibly satisfying to step on. Put your foot on that, Steve. Doesn't that feel nice?
I need 2 of these under my desk just to massage my feet.
Yeah,
during the
you
workday.
use them as insoles, honestly. No, isn't that like a cool feeling? That's why we're gonna call it. That's why we're gonna call it the bubbles, because it's like bubble wrap.
Yeah.
It's. I should have leaned into that in the video. Maybe I'll make a little short about.
I think
that.
the original color was gonna be like a little lighter too.
No, we were always gonna do gold sparkle.
But it's also because when I talked to Grant about it, the idea of the gold sparkle was also because the bubbles, it's like a champagne.
Right. Totally.
Anyway, go check this out. Be Your Pedals. Thanks for making this design with us.
Maybe there's some left.
Hopefully there's some left. If there's not any left, then just go buy a woodcutter.
Well, here's the thing. By the time
buy a loaf.
By the time this episode airs, they still won't be shipped out because I won't be back for my trip yet.
That's true.
And he's gonna have to wait to ship them out until you and I sign all the back plates.
That's true.
Yep.
If you buy one of these, you put it on Reverb for like 3 times the price, I will personally complain about it on the internet. All right.
That's serious.
Look at
Steve's face. He's deadly serious.
I'm not gonna hunt you down.
Look at him. This is not a joke.
I'm not going to invoke physical violence against you. I'm just gonna say
he lives by his word. Everything he just said is true.
I'm gonna say something not nice about you
in
the Facebook group. I won't know who you are because you'll be on Reverb and you'll be like Jimmy's Garage, and there's like 10,000 Jimmy's Garages. I'm just going to say, like, you know what? I don't think that was a very cool move.
Like, legally, I just need to put it out there that Steve does not represent the podcast with these statements. He's making these threats.
This is a personal... It's not a threat. It's a promise.
It's a guarantee. And there's our thumbnail. Steve pointing violently at the camera. At you people.
Hey, Ryan, what's new?
I mean, I'm in the Philippines right now, so that's cool.
You are in the Philippines.
Yeah, I mean, this is all virtual.
Yeah.
The internet is pretty great here, so we can. No, we pre-recorded this, obviously. I'm hoping that that's going pretty great.
The Philippines or me actually launching videos on time?
I've been there a week. Yeah, I trust you to launch videos on time. I've been there a week. I mean, hopefully everything's all right. Hopefully we're doing good. Hope everyone's in good health while we're out here and having a good time. And I hope Glenn made it, because Glenn has been having some travel planning issues. The airline moved his flight back a couple days.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah.
That sucks.
I've been joking that Glenn is going to show up and it's going to be like the adult like Navy guy showing up to the Lord of the Flies island.
Oh.
He's going to show up. We're all going to be in loincloths with sticks sharpened on both ends and stuff. And he's like, what the hell's going on here?
He's going to turn it back around. Taxi?
Yeah. He's like, okay, I'm going home. But other than that, like in the real timeline,
if that happened, this is what Glenn would really say. Ugh. When did all you guys become bass players?
Oh my gosh. This is worse than metal analogy. And everyone will get metal analogy.
What's metal analogy?
He'll make a metal analogy.
This is worse than... Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get it?
Yeah.
In the real timeline that you and I are in right now, that's not in the distant future, I've been doing a lot of band practicing. That new band that I joined up with, we had a practice.
Do you have a name yet?
We do not have a name yet. We tightened up. It felt a lot better. We're starting to figure stuff out. We're getting our volume levels a little bit more appropriate, because the first time I think it was one of those things where no one really knows what their part is, and so no one's playing in a way where they can hear themselves. So we're all just getting louder and louder and louder, trying to hear ourselves, and it was just all over the place. And then the second practice, it started to form up a bit, and we're settling into our places in the mix, and things are making sense. But with that in mind, I've been trying to figure out what amp I'm going to use for that particular project. I mean, Dinosaur Ghost, I have the acoustic control, which is like the classic that I've used. I ordered a new speaker for the cab. That's a whole other thing. But for this new project, it's a totally different sound. Yeah. I have a decent amount of options here. I've been using the Black Star, which is oh my gosh, it's so great moving that thing around. I never want to move a heavy amp again for the rest of my life. It's so freaking light. But I've been back and forth on the head.
Yeah.
It sounds good. That Blackstar St. James head sounds good, but it has this like high nasal thing that I think a lot of people would like, but I'm not getting along with. And it's not like crazy, like, oh man, I can't. It's just like me being particular. So I've been swapping between that and the Wang's head that I have right there behind me. I actually used that at Dinosaur Ghost practice last night as a clean amp head, and it sounded great for that.
Wait, you're using I like the clean setting?
Yeah, I'm using.
So are you just because you're running drive pedals into the acoustic?
Well, I always use the 50-50 with Dinosaur Ghost. I always use a DOD 250, but I don't go super heavy gain. But yeah, I just need a loud, clean channel for Dinosaur Ghost. At practice, I don't need to get that loud. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out the amps for the other band because I do need it to be fairly loud because the drummer can hit.
You've got that Tone King Imperial back there.
Yeah, but that's like a 20-watt amp.
Oh, it won't. It wouldn't keep up.
It's only a little bit louder than the Princetons.
Right.
And it's one of those amps that gets into dirt pretty quick. I mean, it would probably work. I mean, on stage with a mic and stuff like that, it would probably work just fine.
You want to borrow my crate power block?
I'm afraid to move the Tone King. I'm afraid to gig with it because it's so pretty. It is. Steve, move aside so people can see it for just a moment. There, look at it back there. It's beautiful.
I can't figure out which way to move.
It's a beautiful amplifier, that Tone King. I'm afraid of moving it in and out of my trunk. Like, am I going to get a freaking road case for this amp?
Maybe.
That's the problem with getting nice stuff. I don't want to gig it.
So it sounds like overall the St. James is like
the St. James
of the amps that you have.
The St. James is like a technical no-brainer. Yeah. It has the wattage. The weight is fantastic. I kind of don't want to mess that one up either, but I don't feel as bad if it gets scuffed or something like that. It's technically not as high value as the Tone King. It's not cheap either, but
sure.
I'm in love with the cab. If I didn't use the head, I might buy another one of those cabs and like have split 4x12 sort of thing going on because it's so light. It's so light.
Would the Wangs be loud enough, or the Longs be loud enough for that band, or
it's on the edge.
30 watts, right?
It's on the edge. I was swapping it back and forth in the practice.
Yeah,
and it was like it feels like the St. James gets me like 10% more, right. But I'm not sure I need that 10% more, but it's more about headroom because I'm pushing both amps into being compressed and being on the edge of dirt, which isn't a bad thing for this band. But I also don't have headroom to boost if I want to boost a lead up over it. Because I'm pushing into the tubes and they're just compressing more and driving more. So I don't have room for an actual volume boost at the levels we're running at.
Have you considered using the Boss bass katana for bass?
For a guitar amp?
For a guitar amp.
I mean, I could try it. I mean, I could
technically... That's a pretty dumb idea.
I could technically use my katana, which is 100 watts.
Oh, yeah, you have a katana. Do you have the catalyst still?
No, I've always had the combo, but I could run the combo into the St. James speaker cab.
Oh, there you go.
To get more speakers cooking if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Don't give me bad ideas.
But do you have the Line 6 catalyst? Or did you sell that?
Did you give it away? I lent it to Cassidy.
You lent? Okay, cool.
Because he just built a guitar project, and I was like, "Do you have an amp?" And he's like, "I don't have an amp right now. Take this home with you. Yeah. If you don't like it, then hand it back to me." I also just gave Ariel, the other guitarist in Dinosaur Ghost, I long-term loaned him the Monoprice stage right. I just been like being extremely generous.
Oh, that's the 15 watt.
Yeah.
The little tube amp. Yeah.
You say little.
Well, it's like.
It held its weight at Dinosaur Ghost practice last night. Like, I was honestly a little bit shocked. Because he has this deluxe reverb, like an original one. It's a heavy beast. He doesn't like carrying it around if he doesn't have to. And he asked me, he's like, "Hey, do you have like anything like kind of practice amp similar that would be light and easy for me to carry around so I don't have to carry on this whole other amp, and like if I'll try it out and if I like it, then I'll buy it from you or something like that."
Yeah.
And it's like, here, just borrow it. I don't need money. It's like whatever. Like, it's a $250 tube amp that actually sounded really good last night. And I don't think there's any on Amazon right now. I wish there were, because then I could do a little video and be like, it sounded fantastic. Go buy one.
Have you thought
about... It worked in a band mix with the drummer and bass.
You got your new band.
Yeah.
Have you guys thought about a name yet?
No, we haven't even started talking about it yet.
I've got some suggestions.
All right.
The Morning Glass. I hear that's a name that's available.
What if I did take one of our old band names and we started the band up again, but with new songs, different members, and a totally different sound?
I got a really good idea here. It just I saw it. It came to me
in a dream, in a vision.
The Bliss Factory.
Name it after a pedal made by a sponsor.
Bliss Factory sounds like the name of a band in that like 80s kind of.
It kind of does. You're not wrong.
Genre. Also, Bliss Factory is our featured pedal this week for our sponsorship with Chase Bliss Audio. If you want to find out more about Chase Bliss Audio and their products, head on over to chaseblisaudio.com. They've been a longtime sponsor.
So long.
Of this show. Thanks to everyone over there.
They must have been a sponsor
continuing to support this nonsense
for at least like 5 years or something like that now?
It's definitely possible.
Long story. Thank you, Chase Bliss, for pedals more creative and better looking than you are. You know it's true. Go check out Chase Bliss Audio.
This episode's going long. I just wanted to get it in under an hour.
So basically where I'm at right now is that I have an excuse.
You mean guitaristically?
I have an excuse to finally explore using a bunch of amps that I've acquired in actual gigging scenarios, and I'm having fun and excited to do it, you know?
No, that's cool.
Yeah. Do you have anything new?
Well, hopefully if I get everything moved around that I need to get moved around, I got the string swings up. By the time this episode drops,
you'll have it up.
I'll
because this is 2 weeks from now.
Yeah. So that video will be up by then. So you guys will see the install process. I got to shuffle a couple of things around, and then I'm going to build, I'm not going to film it, but I'll build the the string swing, case rack. And that was actually like at first I was like, well, I don't know if I want that. And then I was thinking about like my kids are just kind of like poke thing kids. And already like all the time, my youngest will come in and just strum every guitar.
Yeah, that's fun though.
Well, the purpose of the case rack is I really don't want to hang my Les Paul in that situation. So it can just stay in the case, but it will have its own little home. It won't just be leaning up randomly against something. Right.
So the case rack is a rack that holds up your cases?
Yeah, it's kind of like a 5 guitar rack.
But it's just for cases.
But it doesn't have, it's more that the frame of it, so you can just put anything of any size in there.
Interesting.
And it doesn't have like the padding.
I could use that.
It doesn't have the padding that like a guitar rack would have. It's
so I'm imagining that it's the frame, and it doesn't have dividing bars.
No.
Interesting.
So it's just gonna.
I'll have to take a look at this thing.
It's cool, and so like my acoustic guitar hard case, my Les Paul case, probably will keep one case per like instrument type. So one of my bass mono case I'll probably keep there, and then like one case that would fit a Telecaster or a Strat. So that way if I do need, and then the rest of my cases will probably just get stored in my garage somewhere. But if I need to take like, oh hey, I'm going to, this is the other thing, I got 2 What's News. But for that it's like, I'm going to like a show, or not a concert because I'm not in a band, but I'm gonna go do a thing where I need to transport a guitar. I can just grab any case off of the rack, and then any guitar that will fit in there, and it'll work great. My other What's New is I went to the LA Stompbox Exhibit. Last weekend. That was cool. It's kind of like a mini NAMM.
Sure. It's like a trade show sort of thing.
I ran into one of the guys that you'll be hanging out with right now in real time, Perfecto De Castro. And then basically that's the only person who was there that knew who I was. So that was cool.
You get to fly under the radar. Like if we did like a 60 cycle hum prank show, you would be the person doing the pranks.
I always feel a little bit, so like I took a bunch of pictures.
Does Steve even deserve a podcast? Does Steve deserve a guitar podcast?
I took a bunch of pictures of things, and then I posted them and tagged everyone. And like there was a couple people who were like, "Oh wow, I'm so cool! Glad you got to check out our stuff." And one guy was like, "Oh, I didn't even know you were there." And I'm like, I didn't have the heart to be like, "Yeah, man, we talked for like 10 minutes."
But the thing is, like on Instagram and social media, people are like, they're assuming that seeing that post means that I'm posting it.
So that's another thing that I do is I actually do the majority of the correspondence on our socials.
Yeah, Steve, if you're talking...
I pretend to be Ryan a lot.
You don't pretend. You just like, you're answering it as the 60 Cycle Hum account.
I'm lying by omission.
So like sometimes people in like the Premiere chats on videos and stuff are like, hey Ryan, we were talking about this. And I was like, we were?
people will be like, oh man, thanks Ryan. And I'll just be like, no problem.
Yeah, sir. If you write us on Instagram or wherever, make sure you say thanks, Ryan or Steve or Ryan or
whatever.
Ryan Stevens.
But there were the two brands that stood out. Actually, I'll say three, but I'll say the first two first. One is Collision Devices. They do a couple combination pedals, so it's like
collisioning. Yeah.
So one of them was like a delay, reverb, and like fuzz distortion all in one. The distortion only has like one knob, just a volume. And that thing sounded really cool. It's like very much like, I mean, all the two pedals they have are very much like for like spacey, shoegazy things. The other pedal they had was delay, I want to say tremolo and reverb. Oh no, it was a shimmer, tremolo and delay, I think, in that one. And like lots of modulation things, so you can make them like the delays be like burn, 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 like kind of thing, because they're modulating super hard. Those two pedals were super cool. Then the other guy I talked to was the guy from Spooky Circuits, which is actually, he said that he's only been open for like, he only started his company like a month ago. He built 3 products. So one's like a harmonic percolator. One is a like a fuzz. I think he said it was a fuzz face, basically. And then the harmonic percolator is wild because it has there's 2 gain stages. And so he has 4 diodes for each gain stage, and you can select which one you want.
Oh, wow.
So you can have, I don't know how many combinations that is, but you can like pick which one you want. Like the differences are very subtle, but if you're looking for like a really specific thing, and some of them are like very much, they feel, I don't know if they are out of phase. I don't know enough about circuits to say that they are out of phase, but they kind of have like this funky, like nasal fuzz thing. And then you switch it to another setting, and it feels like an out of phase pickup going through a fuzz versus in phase, but it's actually just because your diode selection is mismatched. So it's kind of a cool idea. But that was another one. And then the third one, actually, I got to play some of the newer MXR stuff.
Oh, interesting. What do they have?
So like the Duke of Tone, they're like Klon, and just they had like a couple MXR boards there. And I feel like MXR is one of those brands that just kind of exists and the other one I tried was the Poly Octave Blue, I think it's called. That one's really cool.
Interesting.
That one's really cool. And the Way Huge Atreides. I think.
Oh, the Atreides is wild.
Yeah, the Atreides is nuts.
No, I got to try that. I think out at JHS, and it's like that bonkers noise making machine.
When I first plugged into that board, I didn't realize the Atreides was on, and of course, this was a thing where like you bring your own guitar. Yeah. So I had my guitar. I picked my heaviest guitar. Smart move, Steve. It's the only one I knew for sure worked. So that was the Red Telecasters, right. Which is my heaviest. But I plugged into that. The Atreides was on. I thought I had broken something.
Yeah, it was on then.
Because like I was like, what the hell's going on? I'm like, every time I like hit a chord, it would just go like, or like hit a note or anything, it'd just go like, brr!
Yeah.
Brr! And I'm looking down like, what the hell? I'm like, why is this thing lit up? And I hit it up. I'm like, oh, there's my clean tone.
Right.
And then I turned it back on and started messing.
It is a full-blown signal destroyer.
It's like so cool. Maybe totally useless. It's either like the best or worst pedal I've ever played. I'm not sure.
The best pedals sound broken, man.
This one was completely broken.
All right, should we get into our last 2 ads?
Yeah,
we're running along on this episode.
Fine.
Who cares, right?
This is an Electro, because you can't read, Outlaw.
I made a typo.
1980 Electra Outlaw X720 MPC with 3 effects cartridges and original hardshell case for $900. The serial number indicates it was built in 1980. Also comes with a free set of Spurzl locking tuners I never installed, and 3 effects cartridges which plug into the back, and we're only going to show 2 of them. One is the power overdrive. The other one is the phase shifter. What's the third one? No say. I didn't realize that these clip so easily into the back with that little thumb turning thing.
Sorry for the moment of silence there. I was gathering my thoughts. I didn't get to, not this model, but I got to try the Les Paul shaped version of this.
Yeah.
I keep bringing up JHS. When I was out at JHS, Josh has one of these and he has like all the cartridges. So it's like I was going through and like swapping cartridges on them, and it's a really interesting concept. And I think Josh obviously collects everything, but he's collecting the cartridges because some of the circuits are pretty interesting. And I think he's like, he might even have a pedal that is based on one of them or something like that. But just looking at the shape of this, this is a really unique shape. Like it's kind of an SG, but then kind of not.
Yeah, it's got a lot of vibes. It gives me Big Ovation vibes.
There's an Ovation element to it. Really bold body design here. And I don't remember what the Electra was at JHS. I don't remember what it was like, but I don't remember it being bad. Like, this is a very attractive and interesting, different looking guitar for $900. And it's a bit of a vintage curiosity. Like, you don't have to use those onboard effects. You can, obviously.
Be a lot cooler if you did.
But you don't really have to. You can use it just as a guitar.
Yeah. The neck joint looks really nice. I think I assume it's a set neck, but...
Even the wood grain looks beautiful.
Maybe I'm not 100% sure if it's a set neck or a neck through.
I bet that's a neck through.
Do you think it's a neck through?
I think it's a neck through. It's got that center beam.
I can't tell if that center beam is actually center. It's a little...
No, I think it is.
It's definitely very close to being center.
And it's got the brass nut thing going on, which was very popular at the time. Because, brass is what trumpets are made out of. And that's tone metal, guys. So you got to make all your hardware out of brass. I'm not hot on the inlays. But for a double humbucker, tune-o-matic, load-out guitar, like, this is cool looking. Yeah. Like, I would buy this if I was, like, in a Yamaha mood. You know how Yamaha has their, like, SG kind of Les Paul adjacent design. Yeah. If I saw this and I was in the mood for something like that, I might get this instead. So cool. I don't know. Someone buy it, guys.
Go buy it.
I honestly have no idea if $900 is a fair price for these or if that's high or low or whatever. Yeah, but it is approachable.
This is in Gaithersburg, wherever that is.
It's a year older than me, and it looks so clean.
Somewhere near Laytonsville Road.
It probably sucks because it looks so clean. It means no one's played it.
Has a free set of... Yeah, and it comes with a free set of Spurzls, which means the person thinks that this guitar has tuning issues, but then just gave up. Right? If you bought...
But the tuners on it looks like solid modern tuners.
They look fine, but I'm just saying, if you bought replacement tuners and then you were like, nah...
Well, sometimes people buy replacement tuners because they think they're supposed to. They're like, oh, my guitar's going out of tune, and they change the tuners and like, oh, it's still going out of tune. I guess there's an issue with the setup or something else, I mean, that brass nut could bind, and I don't know, they're just doing crazy bends or something. Like most tuners are fine.
Did we say that was sent by David Patrick O'Donnell?
I don't know if we did, but you just did.
This last one is sent by John Fleming. It says, hi guys, thought this was interesting. I think, is he saying that? So this is a 1978 Fender Bronco in great condition, other than someone scratching off the serial number and a few blemishes. Pictures from natural aging. This guitar feels great and sounds like a true vintage Fender. Selling because I want to fund other gear purchases. But hate letting this one go. Little to no fretwear, fast neck, and a unique and punchy original pickup. I'll take cash, Venmo, or Cash App. No trades. Let me know if you have questions. How much is this? $1,000.
The question here is, why is the serial number scratched off?
Brass nut?
That's where the serial number would be, right? Unless that's something else. But it's a very suspect looking piece of damage, right?
It is an odd place to put it. They call it out.
Well, the person who sent the ad, it's
I'm saying it's
a
an
weird
odd
way.
place for that damage to be.
Right. Here's my thing. Like, if you were going to steal and then sell a guitar, this is the last guitar you'd want to do it with, because the original owner is going to be able to recognize it from every single detail.
Yeah. Yeah.
First of all, a Bronco hitting the used market, you'd have to move 1,000 miles away to not get caught.
Right.
You know, secondly, it's got some natural wear on it. It's got a very unique look with that black single pickup on the black pick guard. And it's got the wear on it. It's got relicing on it that any, previous owner would be able to instantly recognize. Looking at it now, I'm wondering if there was something else there other than a serial. I don't imagine there was a serial there for some reason. But it does.
It's not where I would expect a serial to be, but that's
I also
because
wouldn't expect a serial on this.
That's where the serial would be.
That is the serial. You found it.
The reason I wouldn't expect is because there are other models of this. So this is the one I just showed you, Ryan, is a 1978 on Reverb for $2,000. So this is also a lot cheaper.
It's really cheap.
Than like at $1,000. It's a lot cheaper. Now some of them, this one's $1,450, so maybe it's not the cheapest. But this one, a 1972, and this is why I was confused. The serial number is on the neck plate on this one. But
well, that could be like a CBS-y sort of thing, like swapping out details.
They moved it to a different spot. 1975, it looks like it's still on the neck plate. So it being on the headstock is like a late 70s, early 80s thing. I'm not sure how long they actually made these. But it looks like it's in really good shape. Other than that, is the brass nut. The brass nut is not original.
Is obviously aftermarket, but it's easily remedied. You find any tech that can cut a bone nut, and you'll be in close enough to vintage shape that you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, that's really
not that you even need to care about taking this back to vintage shape. Like it's fine the way it is. Like it's really super cool guitar.
And I think the other thing to think about, or the other question I would have is, because it's
a Fender Bronco, not a Ford Bronco. You don't have to grind off the VIN if you steal it.
Wow. Oh.
Grinding off the serial isn't going to protect you if you stole this. Like, someone's going to be able to recognize it. You'd have to refinish.
I'm not sure if you're making the joke that I thought you were making.
Okay. No, I wasn't making a joke about OJ.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, never mind.
Not at all.
Okay.
Because he didn't steal that. That was
He
his.
did. You're right. He didn't steal it.
That was his truck.
And also, this is like an Arctic white.
He broke the law, but not by driving the truck. But not by driving the Bronco. That was his Bronco, or it was a friend's or something like that. Him driving the Bronco was fine. The fact that he was escaping was the problem.
Yeah. So the question I guess I have, the follow-up question I have is, because this instrument is so aged, I mean, we're talking about 1978 was 45 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh no, it doesn't.
I'm feeling my age lately, guys.
I'm
not much younger than this guitar, and it's like, yeah, that sounds like a long time ago.
Yeah, this was 45 years ago. That scratch off could have been done anywhere, like at any time. Now it is a little,
but it looks so intentional.
No. I'm not saying it's not intentional. I'm saying this could be a stolen instrument that was stolen in 1985. Like, now again, the price of this,
it kind of looks too fresh. I mean, I know we've only got 5 or 7 pixels to work with here, but that scratch looks fresher than.
But okay,
if it was a 1980 scratch, it would have like finger grease and stuff in it now, and it would be darker than the finished wood and stuff.
Maybe
It would be grayed out, you know?
Maybe
It would like have that like silvered wood thing going on.
I'm gonna give that a maybe.
All right.
The paint job, the finish on the back of the body is in pretty rough shape. But
that's still like it's an attractive relic.
No, it is.
It's an attractive, all natural
there's some
relic.
Like I wouldn't call it checking. There's just some cracks in the finish.
Relic artists could study this relic.
Yeah, there's some legit belt buckle rash. It's in the cutaway in the like the tummy cut space.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like this was done, and this was which is ideal for a Bronco. It's probably in some kind of like post punk.
Yeah.
Early grunge sort of a
late
band.
70s, early 80s. It could have been in a regular punk band.
Yeah.
And that could just be all, belt buckle rash from one of the Ramones or something like that.
I think for $1,000, if you are vintage curious, the lack of serial number is something that will always have to be navigated.
It looks like it might be due for a refret on that second fret, but might as well do a refret on the whole thing if it needs it. Yeah, I think it's a good buy. Whether or not it's stolen, I don't think so.
Like I said, the price is
but you might be right. It might have
too good.
It might have been stolen at one point. That is the thing. The price is too good.
Yeah.
It might be someone trying to move it too fast. Maybe by us publishing this episode,
we'll solve a mystery.
3 weeks after we actually read this ad, we'll solve an unsolved guitar mystery.
We're a regular Chip and Dale.
Are we rescue rangering?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Maybe, I don't know. Probably not.
We're the A team over here.
Are we mercenaries?
We're solving problems for people we meet along the way in our adventures.
Is that the plot of
the
A team?
We're like the renegade. If you've got a problem, then you can find us.
Which one of us is Lorenzo Lamas? And which one of us is Lorenzo Lamas' motorcycle?
I'll be Lorenzo, you be Lamas.
Okay. Okay. All right. Before we wrap this up,
we have to pick a favorite.
I think this one's a slam dunk.
You think this one's a slam dunk? I'm having trouble.
A slam dunk.
What are you judging it on?
I'm just judging it on the one that was the most fun to talk about.
Okay, that's all we're going for here?
That's what I usually go off of.
I think that's a really good variable. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Left 4
Bronco.
Dead. Really? I enjoyed the Bronco.
We're going to have to flip again. Here, you flip or shake up the Spin Doctors pick this time. I'll choose Spin Doctors, you get Chris.
Okay. All right, here we go. Spin Doctors. So congratulations to who sent that? John Fleming.
Yep.
John Fleming, you're the winner.
Congratulations. And too bad. Who sent the other one? Robert Wax.
It's all right. He can send another ad.
Yeah, send another one. You guys have been doing amazing, by the way. We probably have 3 months worth of ads in the inbox. Oh. Don't stop sending them, because if you guys send a lot, we'll see all the best ones, and the very best or very worst of the used guitar market is going to end up on this show, and that's what I want.
Yeah,
that's what we're paying you people to do.
We are.
Get me stories on my desk by morning.
Oh my gosh, we got some songs sent in. I'm going to play one of them.
Cool.
Actually, I'm going to play one that was sent a while ago, but. We got plenty of songs, or we're still kind of shorthanded on songs. I like to have a long runway with songs.
Sure.
So if you want to send us your original recording, you can send it to 60cyclehumcast@gmail.com, just like this person did. They don't have a name. They just said, hey, I'm in a band from Hereford in England called Fridge. And we are about to release our first track, and we hope it could be featured on the podcast. Thanks. So if you look up Fridge Band, I guess, this song is called Sailfish.
I I grew up overshadowed by underwater volcanoes. Couldn't catch the eye of no city girl. I love the way you look in your Virgin. Can't believe I let the smog cloud my eye. Where the long underwater volcanoes stand, and the hourglass like sailfish surround. I'll ride my truck with you by my side. There's a whispering Atlantic, reminding me of sailing goldfish. The whisper builds it cries, sailing for fish in the morning sky. You appear on the horizon, brushing fish juice from your eyes. The city folks with their fancy gadgets, underwater volcanoes, great light tune. Don't have nothing on a way of life, just listen to the sailfish splashes. Don't live your life like a sailfish. There's a whisper in the Atlantic, reminding me of sailing goldfish. The whisper builds it cries, sailing for fish in the morning sky. We are looking under, but we hide away. I grew up overshadowed from the day of light, from the day of light, from the day of
Yes, I like it.
It kind of reminded me of a lot of things, and I'm glad this sound is back.
I mean, her vocals, very close to like your Veruca Salts, your Liz Fairs, you know, things like that. This like a 90s nostalgia piece.
then
that
like
could have come straight out of 1996 and I wouldn't have been able to tell.
The down parts of the song reminded me of like Current is Wet Leg.
Okay.
But then the big parts were definitely in that like 90s.
Yeah.
Alt girl.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Sound. So very cool.
All
Thanks.
right. Bye, everybody.
Stay grounded.